Hello and welcome everyone to Dual Attack. We have some WTC videos courtesy of Peter from Moment of Clarity, and we're going to do a bit of a watch along. So this is Ian's game, and we've got Ian joining us and Lewis.
Oh,
G'day.
So Ian, this is your game. Tell us about, I think turn one started, but I assume everyone just moves forward. So tell us about your matchup a bit.
all right. So yeah, this was round one. Actually, it was top table. They joked before the event started that they were going to do Australia, Sweden top table, and then round one, there we were. So this is me and Olov duking out in the Cygnar Civil War. Apparently, we deserve each other, or so I've been told. Um, so yeah, no, it was a really good game. Keen to walk through some bits and pieces. So I guess we're into turn one, but some of the pre-game stuff here. So obviously it's Storm Legion versus Gravediggers. Um, yeah, and for me it was always going to be a Calder drop in that situation. Just because you know she does a lot better anti-shooting in my mind. And regardless what I saw out of Olaf here, it was gonna be some variation of guns. So I had a Calder.
His other half was Jake's, right?
Yeah, so I had Calder Huxley. He had Vargus Jakes. Um, but being a bit of a Gravedigger veteran myself, I even when they are a Jakes focus, a melee focused Jakes, guns haven't left the building. They're always there. So yeah. I guess with a bit of the decisions pre-game as well. So yeah, we went Jakes into Vargas. I'm pretty sure Olaf went a fairly standard Rhythm, Arcane Shield, and I'm trying to remember if he went Silence of Death or what his third rack slot was here.
I think it was silence, but just because it's happening live, I saw that Warjack get slammed back very suspiciously. How did that happen?
Oh, it's because of the well, it hasn't actually slammed yet. It's still coming. It's actually no, you're right. No, it has. No, it has already. So for me, the I guess point of difference is that I look at this and having played a lot of Vargas myself, one of the tricks I guess that James from my team was doing back with Zadaroth when I had to do that matchup to death was when I present unkillable warjacks on defeat turn. He just wouldn't. He'd pick them up, he'd grab and smash on tormentors and just pick them up and relocate them. Right? It's not dying, but it's not staying where it is. And to the same extent, I look at that and I've got some tools to do that. I've got sailors for slams. I've got some, the aberration can pick up and throw people, as can the general. But just for that little bit more, decided to rack Force Hammer as my third. So I think in this game it was Force Hammer, Deflection, and Electrify. So yeah, and so you saw immediately there, I got turn one just to buy myself a bit more space, just pushing back that heavy on the bottom side of the screen. It's actually not my favorite play of the game with Force Hammer, which is I think in turn two. I use Force Hammer to redirect piece and actually get Electro Leaps into some of his support just by relocating where the heavy is. But um, yeah, it's a very cagey turn one here.
Yeah, I can. You're taking your time on it. This is one of the. So I didn't really get to see these tables. So I guess I went to the event as well, but I was on the other Australian team. I didn't get to see these tables as much, but these were the fancy tables. So I think those are the Steamforge mats, and then that's like some of the old Umbry terrain or whatever.
Mm.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know the terrain, like all the tables were fantastic across the event. Um, this one was quite cool. Well done.
Oh, we got
Uh,
some dynamic zooms here.
there are some dynamic zooms, which is cool. You can see Prey that's on Plugger from my Black 13th. And they had another camera as well, which I'm hoping. I haven't actually watched this game back. This is the first time I've seen it since being there in the flesh. But there was another camera just up the top of the screen, sort of doing a tracking shot across the board. And so in that spirit, I've also got the Black 13th, which are thinking about getting up and around that building up the top there.
So Juice has just come up and take a shot. I saw you marking damage, but I'm not sure what he shot at. Do you know?
It was a cavalry member.
Oh, okay. Oh, probably the one behind that wall.
Yeah, it's the one behind the wall. So we're doing a dance at the moment where I'm projecting a bit of thread up the top, and we're both just trying to chip away at each other without committing. Just because it's a bit of a cagey game. It's Payload, so there's no big scenario swing happening soon. His flag, I think, is in the forest at the top there, and mine has gone. And mine's gone to the forest at the. He's gone to the forest at the bottom. Mine's gone to the forest at the top.
Is this Payload?
Yeah, it's fairly big distance across the pair of them. So,
do you know what the story is with the old Umbri logos on Olov's shirt when he's playing Gravediggers?
Yeah, it's because he was playing Old Umbre, and he did a 1-2 switcheroo and moved across. Because I played him in one of the Euro leagues because I was ambitious and joined in for midnight game or 6 a.m. games with the Adelaide or with the Australian time zone, and I played him actually during that, and he was running Bowdown into my Vargus at the time, which was a good game as well. Then far more forests involved, so he had bird's eye then, and I suffered for it. And this time I had bird's eye. I'll leave the air of whether or not he suffers it to be revealed.
Oh,
yes. No, but at the moment you can see there's a lot of just like Calder's got quite long threat ranges. They out threat him in melee here. Obviously he's got the guns to just shoot me off, but it's not as easy as one would like, and so he's currently just measuring where that is. He's got most of his heavies have kind of drifted down to that bottom. So in between the building and the forest that's in the middle of the table, there's a bit of a channel that we end up fighting in. As you can see, we're squaring up there, and then a second one in between the building and the forest at the top.
yeah, it looks a bit hard to tell on the mats, but it looks like there's a forest just behind that tower in the middle of the board. And then there's some other forest templates kicking around, but once the trees are removed, they blend in a lot with the
Yeah. It was easy to tell in the day, but having looked back now, yeah, it is all a bit sort of blendy together.
Yeah.
The other piece is there's a piece of rubble that Calder's hiding in on my side that she's tucked away in, sort of in the middle of the left, and
Oh, is that what that kind of square looking thing is?
Yep. That's a destroyed house, and I think Olov has got Vargus and a piece of rubble up in the right there.
Yeah.
So
The Lewis, you were doing Watch Machine at the time this was live. Was this a good time for you at all?
Yeah, look, I'd say I think it was a 2 a.m. start Australia time. I think that was ideal.
Yeah.
I'll put it in here just for a second. So I did not realize this at the time, and you're going to watch me go straight past this. So turn one here, Olov's walked up, he shot Juice into a cavalry member, the one behind the wall that you saw marking damage that didn't die, repositioned back, and then forgot to Rhythm of War. So this actually would have been sort of one of the pivotal one of the moments of the game where sort of, things could have changed a lot. That cavalry is actually in range of Juice, and I didn't realize this at the time. He hadn't feeded. And so had I realized that, you probably would have seen the top cavalry go all the way across into Juice. Instead, I'm looking here at my Black 13th, who are going to come across and do a bit of work.
Oh yeah.
I think so I could have just slammed into him there. And instead, I go for some tricks. And I think the tricks here, I'm looking to. There's a momentum I think that went to Juice, and then I was going to try and thunderbolt him away from the objective to stop him scoring it. So there's a little bit of damage that happens to him there.
Who's the prey? Is Juice the prey or is someone else prey?
No, it's gone on to Plugger, because Plugger generally speaking, is a bit fragile. Like as much as an armor 19 Warjack can be, but stealth is sort of a bit important to keep functioning, keep his systems in order. He kind of likes all of them, doesn't like losing any of them. And so if you can kind of just bully him a bit with the Black 13th, it can be quite good. So, but no, the Black 13th instead are sort of going up and around that house at the top there, which sort of they are also really, really good drip feed contesters. Just because they got that Repo 3, they can go up and do what they want. So you see me here, instead of going and charging, I've gone about and I've knocked down Juice, and I'm just going to try and get some electrolytes, some shooting into him. I guess the concern I had going into this is I know the work that Rangers, I mean, everyone who plays into Gravediggers knows the work that Rangers can do. And having to take the full brunt of their out, or like their shooting is never ideal. But they do, much like, killing one member of a cavalry unit can really change their output. Killing sort of one or two members of a ranger squad. Generally, you want to get about 2. When they start getting down to 3 members, their damage drops significantly. So I'm really fixated here. We're just getting some shots out. I think we're repoing now, so the shots have come out. The cavalry up and casting. Trying to pull one back for safety. Good luck, buddy. But yeah, so there were some shots there hitting Juice, bouncing out to some of the targets. I think I got 2 members of the Ranger squad there. One of them tuffed, so he was knocked down. But that sort of meant that I didn't have to worry about them. And then you'll see the second squad of Rangers that are tucked up behind the forest on the bottom, that sort of do a dance there with Kruger, because whichever one goes first generally will lose, unless they can kill the other outright. So we kind of do this shuffly dance for a while.
And these light blue rectangles that you're playing behind at the moment there, that's your defense template, right?
Yeah. I said this before all my games as well. I'm a massive fan of proxy bases. When used correctly, you definitely can abuse them, but I think being able to lay out things, agree it with your opponent, be able to lift it up so you can measure over the top, these are things that are just so good for the cleanliness of the game. So I have them, my defenses all have proxy bases on them. There's actually a third defense in the table as well. You'll see I just bumped it slightly as I was moving up the assailers, but there's a powder keg.
Oh yeah, I see.
Just
next to the red circle.
Yeah, just above the aberration. Yeah, that's it. Which is within 10 inches of my own barricades if I needed to. So if the aberration's not doing anything else, he can just pick up a powder keg and blow up one of my barricades if I need to get out of the way.
So you not running Sapphire? Is the powder keg instead of Sapphire, or is it in addition to Sapphire?
No, it's instead of, which is not necessarily what I wanted, but no, there you go, sorry. I saw that, I think there's another force hammer that went out there and went into the light to slam the light into another ranger.
Oh yeah.
So we've got a few more there.
And you're casting them through your I don't know what the unit's called, but the Windweaver unit, right? They're
all veins. Yeah. The Cygnar's just everything unit. So they do a little bit of everything, which is always very helpful. And you can see me here measuring out for the fuel caches. So playing against Gravediggers, tasting my own medicine. The ability to drop down a fuel case and position before you even get a charge can sort of change your angles. It's like budget TK basically. So having to look there not just at the physical distance between us, but also the angle that he might be able to pop out and go for. But the aberrations.
Before this game, you were talking to me about how fake Fleet is. Did you respect Fleet at all in the game?
Unfortunately, in this instance, I think it's a case. So I've generally considered Fleet to be one of those times where if they're gonna have to fleet to get into a heavy target, they're gonna have to spend focus, one for Fleet, one of they probably have aggressive head, but they probably come in, they've only got 2 focus to actually attack with. If you can start doing things, I've got a lot of Polarity shield here, so generally I sort of talk about, if you have to fleet and trample and bind attack, you're not getting any work done at the end of it. But if you can put a harder target in front of them, then that loss of one focus generally makes a big difference. Unfortunately, here, I believe Storm Legions often made a bit of paper, so coming in with less focus is not necessarily the worst for the Gravedigger player, but I don't think it actually came into effect outside of turn 1 here. At least not in the turns we've seen so far. So there probably was more respect for it than I should have given, but it definitely didn't. It didn't make me sort of break into a cold sweat.
Yeah. And the turn swapped to Olov here, and it looks like you're on 2 points.
Yeah, so I've got my 50 and the 40 in the middle. So he won first turn, which is always unfortunate against Gravediggers. They love a first turn. Gets all their drops online sooner. And Vargus with Rhythm as well can really body up and get quite far up the table. So I was second. I ended up choosing the side that I did specifically for that forest that we can't see behind the tower. But there's a spot in there where I was able to just put the assailers in. And there are not many things I have great confidence in, but assailers can generally take a bit of a beating and still keep kicking. And that was going to be, hopefully for me, a point there that he wouldn't be able to take off me very easily, and I'd be able to sort of control a bit of the middle for a while. I've also feated this turn. I believe you can see the coin behind Calder. I think the far cavalry that's up on the top right-hand side is out, but the other ones are, and you can see Plugger's just gone across there, but it's taken him more than a bit to kill that cavalry member. And now he's coming across, going for that second one, up the very top. And does he get him here?
There's a lot of dice.
There he goes.
There you go.
Finally gets him. So it takes Plugger a fair bit of effort to actually pick out that cavalry member. And I think he hasn't used fleet either, so he's only sprinting 5. So coming back across there.
Oh, there's fleet effect sprint as well.
It does. It gives you +2 speed for your activation. So it means your sprints go to 7. It's why people often feel that Plugger is mandatory with Vargus. Fleet and mobility and Spark Hammer are the 2 ways to get him. Oh, and Boom Boom Feet will give him plus speed, which means he gets additional movement on his sprints. Unfortunately, Escort on my dear boy, my chum, Buck, doesn't work, which made me very sad. For a while there, I thought we were going to have some shenanigans, but alas.
Yeah. And it looks like Juice has just picked off that remaining cav.
Yep, unfortunately there, I had dreams of him surviving. Olov disagreed, and Juice came and sealed the deal. I think it's all he was able to get, though, so he's got 2 focus left on him that can't really go anywhere. And he's sort of tucked up behind that building, snug as a bug in a rug. I think one of the regrets I had here, and it's a hard needle to thread, was the aggressiveness with the general. So this was the feat turn, and I reckon the general probably could have been a bit further up just to sort of threaten up. He does have Polarity Shield, which means he can charge by constructs, which means he would have been able to sit sort of a bit more in front of these warjacks. And with dodge and feats, we might have been able to get to a point there where it would have been high risk, high reward. But generally speaking, I'm not super fond of those plays, just because I've seen some lucky sons of guns who are able to really just crank it when they need to. So I generally like my more safe, reliable plays. And in this instance, I'd gotten some of the rangers up top. I'd contested, I got a 2-0 scenario lead, I got the assailants tucked away, I was feeling pretty safe about this. I've also still got the aberration just chilling there. He's not really a great piece to, not for Storm Legion to sort of threaten out. If they come to me, if he puts a heavy in front of me, even on defeat turn, the aberration's going to do a fair number, just beating the snot out of it. So
Yeah, and the aberration was a bit of a late include as well, wasn't it?
it was actually it's what made the list for me. So this is shamelessly stolen off of one of the English guys. So I was running in the EuroLeague. I was running Vargus, and he ran pretty much this exact list into me. I think Kruger was the thing that I chucked in there because Kruger and Vision is just a headache for so many people. But I know I ran into this and immediately was like, that is what I'm looking for in a Calder, because I played Calder about 8 months ago for a bit. I played her at CanCon, I think at the beginning of the year, and at that point in time had Big Pig instead and had more guns to leverage Birdseye. And it was great because you could get a really big cavalry charge going, and your turn 2 was always quite strong, but then your turn 3 I always felt was missing a second wave punch. And at that point, sort of assailers, we hadn't quite worked out what was going on there. And I was with Big Pig, but the aberration with the recursion you can do on the cavalry members buys you time. If you get time walked on that turn 2, your cavalry can kind of position. They can chip out one of them, but you can start bringing them back, and you sort of are in this rolling wave of them.
Yeah, and so I guess the part of what you're saying there too, and I can't remember if we've already said it this episode, I guess, is that you were on Gravediggers for a long time, and your swap to Storm Legion was a bit of a, like, obviously you had experience with it, but it was a bit of a last minute kind of swap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was whenever we were in Brisbane for the event.
Yeah, the OTC, which the Scurvy Squad won.
Yeah, yeah, that was where we made the swap, and we sort of did a crossover, and so I moved across. Mainly, I think the team wanted Huxley, which is understandable. Huxley's a beast and a menace. And so I moved across there, and I think Robin backfilled to pick up Gravediggers.
Yeah, and your assailers doing the thing that you said they would do earlier, which is they've gone in on this jack here.
Yeah, so this was a bit of a, I'm not going to say a mistake from Olov, but sort of this is a moment that he went through and then immediately saw it and was like, I see what I've done. And so my assailants have come up and they've just slammed this heavy. I think I've done some chip damage. It's Vargus feet turn, so the thing's stupidly high armor. But they've just moved it out behind the forest because he was tucked in behind where I couldn't see him. And instead we've got him to a position where I'll dramatic zoom in on the aberration. But no, they've just moved him out behind it such that the little pike boys here have got a bead on him now.
Yeah, because as we discussed before, there's like forest behind that tower. So previously he wasn't in line of sight, is essentially what you're saying.
Nah, correct, he wasn't. And even though he's on the feet, and even though he's got the shields, those little storm glaives, the numbers just are there for them to pick up this heavy. It's a bit dicey. It's not guaranteed, but it's definitely in the realms of possibility. I think in the practice games we played leading up to this, the biggest claim to fame was, I think, 5 of them full to 0 to Phantasm against one of your team, actually, Shano, which I made him play that game. He didn't want to play that game, and then he said, "This is why."
Yeah.
Good sport for a guy.
Shout out to Shano. That's his aberration that you're playing as well.
Yeah, I was going to say he's also chipping in. So doing that last minute swap, I thought I had more Storm Legion painted than I did. Basically everything on this board, except for one officer, was painted after the OTC for WTC.
I've just realized that pretty much everything happening is not within view of this camera. Your dice rolling, not in view, and the halberdiers that are actually...
Oh, no, there it goes.
This was peak watch machine, I can tell you. But I do also just want to point out, this was the other big advantage of aberration as well, in that there isn't actually a lot of hit fixing in this list. So even
No.
though that Warjack's only defense 12, hitting 5/6s to hit is actually not terribly reliable because those guys are only mat 6, right?
Correct. So one of Storm Legion's biggest weaknesses is the hit fix, right? It's their big Achilles heel.
And so the shadow bind, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Shadow Bind and Force Hammer as well are two tools which are there to try and just make sure that the damage lands. Interesting here, and they've just gone away from it, is probably my biggest, lying awake at night, things I would have changed about this game, and they've just moved the camera off it, but the Black 13th at the top there have just come around the building to put shots into Juice again, I think. And the light that's up there, and they've just been a little bit too aggressive here. So rather than coming up, I think I went in to get all three shooting them. I actually didn't need to get the shots in. I don't think they did terribly much, and it would be far better off for me to just put up one, keep the other two far back, repo that one forwards. Probably Ryan at this point, because Plugger's kind of left the building, to repo up Ryan to contest, and repo Glover and Watts all the way back behind this building to try and just continue that drip feed going. So they've come up, they've been a bit aggressive. If I could turn back time and find a way, I would swap that to try and keep them being annoying for longer, because they're a little bit exposed at the moment. I think you can see the general here is he's able to see through the forest as well, but being Vargus feet turn, I wasn't confident that he'd be able to get through and actually do what he needed to do. So I think he's gonna just posture up again for another turn. The cavalry at the bottom here doing similar. They don't really have any good charge targets yet, so we're just kind of keeping them back.
Oh, look, there's me.
Hey! There you go, and then we've switched the term. And Krieger's also just living out behind that house for a while. So I've gone to 5 points to Olov's 2.
Yeah. This is a commanding lead.
Yeah.
While we're doing shout-outs on people who contributed to Ian's play here, I can see Glavis written on your sticks.
Oh, yeah. So I've actually still got Shayna's Aberration and Nostilla, but I will be returning those. But as for Glavis's stuff, massive Kleptomaniac. If he doesn't nail it to the floor, it'll be mine. I've got all of his Mark III Trolls that he bought off someone. I've got his Mark III Scorn just in my cupboard here. I've got his Measuring Sticks. I've got some of his...
The way you said Mark III, you said it quite quickly, and I thought you said smut, and I was very confused there for a moment. But
oh, buddy, if I had smut trolls, you would see them all the time. Oh, that would just be everything. Family friendly, be damned.
Yeah,
it would be 100% smut trolls all day, every day.
What's the format? You know, a court of Creel stones.
Oh, like a
reverse harem of Krill stones.
Yeah.
All right, we should probably change the topic away before it gets too ridiculous here.
We can see up the top here. So up the top, he's got his airdrop light that's coming up, and this is where I'm getting a bit punished. It's coming up, and it's like up in that top corner. I'm still feeling sort of. I've only got a small presence up there in the Black 13th, but I'm looking at that. There's only 4 models up there, sort of keeping his back alive and sort of figuring out how we're doing it. And unfortunately for me, the blocker here comes up and I think picks up. He doesn't hit the front Black 13th, but he does get Ryan at the back. So at the back there, gets Ryan, there goes Prey. And Ryan was the one that I was hopeful was going to survive because she was the furthest back. And that's highly unfortunate for me. I think he got Watts at the front and Ryan at the back. So there's just Glover behind the building now.
How did he get Ryan? Isn't that the one
so
with no gun?
Pardon?
Isn't that the Jack with no gun, or am I misunderstanding what's happening?
Unfortunately, all the light war jack. I say unfortunately, it's fantastic. But all the airdrop lights have guns.
Oh, okay.
This bit of what I'm saying. So not Storm Legion, Gravediggers might not have like, might not be dedicated guns all the time, but even when they're not, they're still guns. So the blocker here's got a range 8, power 12 spray. Only rat 6, but if you crank a 9 just on 2 dice, that's a dead Ryan. So that was unfortunately my luck.
So much like Ryan, your Storm Blade, no, Storm Guard, now dying off screen.
Yeah. So what looks like a proxy base of Plugger?
Correct. Which is... Oh, actually, was that Plugger had gone? I don't know if Plugger had gone in yet.
This
Oh, no,
looks
he's
like
gone in.
Plugger doing a killing spree, unless there's
Yes,
another
it is.
model floating
Yep.
around.
No, it's Plugger doing his killing spree, so just given the overhang of the model and given how he needs to move about the place, he's proxied it out, and so Plugger's going through and just doing a bit of chop on the assailers. I think he gets repulsor fielded backwards because he hit an assailer and didn't kill him. But I think he... Yeah, there he goes. Gets the last assailer there. Oh, no, he's not dead. Take it back.
It looks like, I'm guessing maybe you bounced him back and then he just gunned with the rest of the attacks or something?
I think he tried to gun, but fortunately Plugger doesn't have pistol. He's not quite best in class and everything. So the guns didn't really work that well, and so there he's sort of sitting.
You heard it here first, folks. Plugger's trash.
Oh, good. He, with his 7-inch sprint, managed to just go straight back to where he started. So that's good.
Pretty much. Just being like, yeah, I'm done with this. Don't want to be here anymore. Bye.
Yeah, he just moved a proxy base around and then took it off.
There's a guy who plays Siege Animatrix who has a second proxy base. He's magnetized the first one to the base, and he's got a proxy base that's fully scenic with magnets in it. And whenever he moves it about the place, he just puts down the second base, works out where he wants it to be, and then just unclips the Animatrix from one, puts it on the other, and just picks up the first base and takes it off the table. I call it the hopping turtle. It's amazing. I love it. So basically, that's what he should be doing here, right? There should be a second base floating around that's Plugger, and when he's done, just pick up Plugger from one base, snap him on the second base. Well done.
Yeah. So I think I understand the point you were making before, right? Where you were saying you regret not being more aggressive with the general and the aberration, because it looks like your entire center's just evaporated.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is, and so I have this with Storm Legion as my feeling is that they do a lot of damage out, but they don't generally stick around. So you really do need to sort of make that killing blow quite quickly. And people often get a bit disheartened when they're playing against it because they see sort of a lot of their stuff die and a lot of your stuff on the table and go, well, this is a foregone conclusion, and going, actually just start hitting them, see what happens. Because this is, fairly expected for, the durability I would anticipate out of them.
Yeah. It looks like he's getting a lot of good work out of Rhythm of War. I think maybe Tim should watch this, because Tim was of the opinion Rhythm of War was really only good for extra pressure turn 1 and didn't have as much game like turn on turn value, but Olov looks like he's really getting some value here. Oh, maybe that was
well, actually done. I think he's currently only got Sprint and Repo 3 going on Juice and Plugger, but this is about the list that I was landing on for my Vargus, and you definitely, I think, want Rhythm when you can walk in with Plugger, stab, and sprint out 5, and Juice can walk up, shoot, and Repo 3. Getting that additional 3 inches to reposition afterwards is quite massive. It means that you can fight with those pieces and then leave something else behind to take the brunt of the work.
So without the safety of feet turn, it looks like Olov is not as excited about feeding you a Warjack.
No. So he's unfortunately, so behind the tower, unfortunately, he's completely clear. He's cleared out everyone there, but he hasn't scored I think I'm contesting with the Storm Vein, so he didn't have a scoring potential there. And I'm not sure what I'm measuring for here, but whatever it is, we're not getting it. But he's come down with those rangers who were sort of clipped up in the top of the field at the beginning of the game, and they've come down to contest now, just running. But yeah, it's still a bit of a dance.
Yeah, I guess the question for you is how do you clear those 3 ranges without actually committing anything?
I'm trying to remember how I can remember bits and pieces of it, but I cannot remember how I get the third one.
That's all right. We'll see it happen.
We're all finding out together.
Yeah, we'll find out together. No, looking at this now, I'm sort of sitting there wondering whether or not it's much easier sort of being an armchair general, even for myself after the fact, but whether or not the general has range to go through that forest and just sort of slam into one of the heavies there.
You mean like on a trample?
Nah, even a charge, because I got bird's eye with Calder, I can see straight through that forest.
Yeah, yeah.
But I reckon
It
having a look
looked
at
like
that.
Olov had measured the 13s.
I reckon that's what I looked at just then. So
Hmm.
he stayed outside of it, which is smart. Which will be why we didn't go for it. So that makes me feel a bit better. Hey, look at that! We get rid of the tower.
No, there's a whole objective there.
I know, right? So there you go. So Kruger's going to just place up here. The place kills one ranger, and I think I just go for a regular roll. Don't even bother doing mental force, and then the second one just picks him up and kills him. So that's cleared my objective. Kruger's still got vision, tucked in behind the wall, just still looking at those rangers at the bottom of the screen that haven't popped out yet to make their presence known, but will shortly. And I think we're going here, so we're running in the Stormbanes.
Yeah, so this is you're trying to figure out how to stop him scoring, which involves feeding him pieces. This is essentially where the kind of whoop. We're doing it.
Oh, hello,
Whoever that
the
is.
king. I have no idea, but
well, for
you
anyone
go.
who wasn't aware, that's what the event hall looked like.
That's what the venue looks like. Yeah, apparently my turn's not interesting enough. No one cares. This is the general's moment of glory. The one thing I wanted him to do. He walked up, took a shot at that ranger, hit with his gun, and then the ranger tuffed. So it was very sad times for me. I think these were them. The cavalry then just coming up. The ranger's knocked down, so there's going to be an electroleap into him. And here.
This was
Yep.
the most classic watch machine thing I've ever seen. You moved them up and went, great, I'll move everyone onto the objective with my reposition move.
Yep, and then moved, and Olov's going to pick it up at the end of the turn, moved that back cavalry off the objective. So that as well was just another bit of just to kick yourself after the fact. But, you know.
It's so hard, though. The amount of times where I made a decision.
There we go. There's the 3.
There it is.
Yeah, take that 6. Yeah, the amount of times I made a decision like this will do this and then proceeded to not do it or move it away was wild. It's like, I mean, Warmachine's a very complicated game, and like half the game is being able to essentially action your plan.
Yeah, and you can see me there as well, seeing if I can try and use the payload move to try and move the objective behind that building a bit, just to move it out of contest range for where Krieger is and where the Rangers could get to. And unfortunately, given, geometry not being in my favor, I had to move closer too, so I couldn't actually move it where I wanted to move it.
Oh, blasted geometry.
It's always there to get you. So I think we're into this is top of turn 5 now, so it's also sort of quite a long game, 10 minutes to 12 minutes. So we're both doing fairly well on clock as well. So scenario is quite tight. The score has been quite tight. I'm definitely not comfortable at this point because he's got a few more resources than I would like him to have. I think one less Warjack would have been good. Unfortunately, I think Juice there is feeling pretty confident. So.
How does your game plan change when you see that clock is in the single digits?
Not that much, if I'm honest. Generally speaking, it's actually when it gets down to sub 20 that I start sort of going, okay, now I need to make less time intensive decisions. I'll pause that for a second and say this is Seth here, the head judge. I have a love and admiration for Seth. I never knew. But ran just the best. The entire team of judges was fantastic. But he ran just a very tight and pleasant experience all the way through. So I had a couple of judge calls over the weekends. Basically, if ever in doubt, get a judge over, clear it up, and they were both effective and just the nicest to deal with. So shout out to them. Go Team Breath.
I'll shout out Seth as well. I've listened to his podcast. He seemed like a nice guy on the podcast, but meeting him in person, he was wonderful. No, all the judges except Tom Wiggins were great.
See, I'll still give it to Tom. He gets a shout out in my book. But I say here we're going. He's Black 13th coming up here. So we're going to knock down onto the general, who was, I think, his prey target all along. So he's Black 13th, been nice and patient. And they've finally got their comeuppance. Well, so no, they haven't got their comeuppance. I'm getting my comeuppance with the general, who's taking a Glover. He's on, and he's starting to get plinked away. I think Plugger here has just picked up all 3 members of the Stormvane squad. They will be missed. I think one of them had a very bad day. Olov kept killing him. I kept reviving him, and he just, why won't you let me die?
So Plugger is now activating his pocket sand, which is what he does best, and just is going to unload T3+1 POW 18 shots straight into the general here.
That is correct. And goodbye, general.
How does he get to power 18?
So his base, no, he only gets to 16 here. He gets to 18 if you run it. Yeah, 18 if you run him with Kane. Or potentially 20 with Kane if you
he's power 12 up to 14 with volume fire, up to 16 with the ammo crate, which is very rude against a knockdown armor 19 Warjack. Oh no, 19. He is 20 if for as long as he has his buckler.
Nah, he's only 18. He's 19 with the buckler.
I see.
Look, he's got depth, he's got power, he's got high mat. The general's got a good kit.
He's got a lot going on, but he does die to incredibly powerful machine guns.
Yeah, so you'll see me here as well. I've kind of realized what's the writing on the wall for the top objective, and you can see up the top there's an officer hiding behind the forest that Olov's just worked out where that 14 is for me to try and run in and contest, and he's keeping his objective just away from me, which is quite rude. I want to come get it, and he's just not letting me.
So do you remember if there were any Black 13th behind this building at this point, or they're all gone?
No, they're unfortunately died last turn. I think Juice picked up the last one. Here I think we're going... Yeah, so here I was hedging my bets a bit with where the aberration was going. I kind of was keeping around the middle, and I think Olov's looking at whether or not he's going to end up running a Warjack on the other side of the tower, so on the bottom side. If he does, it's going to be a bit of a pain for me to try and deal with.
This turn better be good from Olaf, because he's down to 3 minutes.
He's down to... Yep.
So...
and he's clocked over to me there. That's the end of... Oh no, there we go. That's the end of his turn. He goes to 7 to my 7.
So he was on... It was 6-5, so he's just scored 2 and you scored 1.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because you've got a full 9 minutes here. And you've just got to contest
it
and score.
So Scenario's hanging in there, but unfortunately he's he's still got 3 heavies. So I can't just, clock him back and take my point, because he can just run his heavies in. We're also at turn... This is bottom of 5, so he's only going to go through 2 turns in 3 minutes. And so I was fairly confident if he needed to, he could just swamp the objectives, just run everything in. And that would probably be too much for me to deal with, even with 10 minutes of time. Just trying to, especially if he's jammed me and I have to try and unpick everything.
Yeah, well, he must be a significantly better player than me. I feel like I'd be sweating at 3 minutes.
I don't know. You took a 2-minute turn against me in one of our practice games. Well, no, 90-second turn, like a turn 3 that was not 90 seconds. I'm still talking about that. That was clean.
Oh yeah,
that was good.
That's pretty fun.
So this is me. So I'm always here for a cute time. and this is my favorite thing here. So, Krieger finally popped out from behind the building, took 2 shots down through Plugger and the blocker at the back there. Knocked out the movement of the blocker, and then the cavalry have just walked through the forest here, shot the blocker, electroleaped into Watts, killed the blocker, killed Watts, and Vargus in that crate can't actually contest his 40. So even though he's got 2 heavies on either side of it, I have contested his 50 at the top and taken his 40 from him that Vargus was scoring. So that was pretty good for me. Here's where I go up. I think I'm trying to just get something into Plugger, because Plugger is contesting my my 40. Again, hindsight being 2020, I kind of wish I'd chucked out a Force Hammer here from Calder into Plugger, although he does have stealth, so I'd have to get pretty close to do it. And I think instead she's looking at the wings. Yeah, so she's going to go over and take over scoring. Conscious here that I want to make sure, I was not sure where she could go, and I didn't want her to get picked up by the Rangers that are still waiting at the top or at the bottom there. Finally get rid of that building, which I should have done well long ago, but that's fine. And then the officer runs in behind just to try and sit there and threaten contesting later.
So it's 9.
I think I'm at 9 to his 7. The fire that we remembered and appeared for 2 seconds and then disappeared again.
So I think it'd be really easy in Olov's place here to be like, all right, there's a monstrosity contesting this. I'm going to spend 3 minutes trying to kill this monstrosity. Was that kind of your idea? Look, we're going to make scoring as complicated as possible. But unfortunately, he's seen this really nice play, which he does the exact same trick that you just did on him, because only your caster's on that objective. So then the Warjack goes and claims it from under you.
I did that trick on him, and then surprised Pikachu face when he came back and killed me, and I was like, came back and did this to me. I was like, what? So he's done exactly the same to me there. I've shown him what to do, and he's taken it and run with it. So yeah, this is where I need to sort of look at the board now.
A monstrosity in the slightest.
Nope, doesn't care for it. So he's done for about 45 seconds, and this is probably where I just need a little bit more luck, and then Plugger walks up and just 1 shot. 2 shots takes off the officer there, which knocks out my contesting ability for that back objective. So for those playing along at home, that leaves me with a Nostilla, an Aberration, and a Calder as the sum total of what I have left. Yeah, I've got a 3-minute lead to Olov's 20 seconds, but I'm checking there, and the Aberration cannot get around to get to that heavy, which is a sad time for me.
It's pretty amazing how far down on materials you were for so long, and this game still be like very nearly your game.
Yeah, you have 3 models.
Yeah, I've only got 3 models left, and it's so for me, it's all about it's about what you can do that's taking what's not on offer and sort of doing what's unexpected. And a large part of that's why I'm taking Force Hammer. Just because people will put things in position to say, okay, you can take this, but you can't take this. There we go. So that's the Force Hammer play that just said, I can't kill that heavy Warjack, but you sure as heck better believe I can just slam it out here. The Aberration will go across. Get ready to try and kill it if I need to. And score what I can. So I think he gets 12 to my 11 here. So still in it. And then he's just got a 20-second turn to take, and there you go. Now everyone's just coming on in, just flooding up.
I think this was the pièce de résistance for me, which was he does the same trick again and claims the objective from underneath your caster.
I know, and I did a surprise Pikachu phase again. I was like, what? So he comes and takes it out from underneath and gets the points. And we're having a bit of a think about it here, but unfortunately, there's just not enough I think I can do. I'm sort of reaching into my bag of tricks.
Yeah, you look like you're just shuffling tokens around until the clock ticks down.
We still got another 20 seconds, but I think in the end I go for a Force Hammer onto that heavy, miss it, the Aberration comes up and the contest, and just, yeah, there it is.
All right.
So,
anything you want to kind of say to end the game? Or end the video?
Oh. Look, when this is, for me, we saw the bottom of turn 7. In a game here, which is a marker for like a quality game as far as I'm concerned. There was tight scoring. Unfortunately, at the end there, just given how it went at the final 2 turns, he really pulled ahead, and it was like 18-11 or something. But really, I guess, doesn't do justice to how neck and neck it was all the way through. Some really cute plays. Some really patience. Like those ranges in the bottom of the screen there never left where they started the game. Because Olov kind of knew that they were better threatening in his pocket than actually just running out and dying. Yeah, no, I was really happy with this game, and Olov is also just such a great guy. Nicest possible opponent. Clean. Just it was a good game. I wish I had more like it. Actually, I wish I'd had more like it in the lead up to it, because I might have been able to take him.
Awesome. And I guess another quick shout out to Moment of Clarity, who filmed the WTC and were generous enough to let us use their video files. So if you want to watch the game without people talking over it, with the full table audio, listening to Ian and Olov, head on over to Moment of Clarity. And there's a lot of other videos as well. That's probably it for me. Anything you want to say before we go, Lewis?
Just if you do go and listen to the actual game or not, I just wanted to shout out Olov for holding himself accountable on a bunch of little rules triggers and things like that were missed. There was a lot of, missed Rhythm of War. Should I do that? And then Ian going, and then Olov being, no, it's passed. Fair enough. All good. And I just really appreciate that, especially at this level of play.
It was a very clean game, and sort of similar thing with the the moving up of the cavalry, and after he'd missed his rhythms, he walked up and said, "Yeah, is the cavalry in range?" There, and was going, no, they're not. That's an unfortunate mistake. But yeah, we were both playing sort of as hard as we could, whilst maintaining a good level of respect for it's sort of an acknowledgement of cleanliness, right? That if you could play your game cleanly as possible, that you should be rewarded for it. And so anything that we missed or gotten wrong sort of stood there to sort of highlight when people got it just perfectly right. Which, yeah, it felt great.
Well, I guess we'll end it there then. Thank you so much, everyone.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.